This is an FOU Studios podcast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to GXP, where we get to level up with some GXP. I'm your host, Peter the Geek. With me today, we have hashtag KillJosh.
That would be me.
And we also have the amazing Lace.
It's me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our guest for today is very, very exciting. You might never recognize him because of the many hats he wears. He's a professional cosplayer. He's playing Darth Maul in a short film, and he's a pro wrestler, all-around geek and good guy. Ladies and gentlemen, Rob Fiore.
Hello, Rob. Welcome.
What is up, my friends? Hey, everybody. Thank you for having me on the show today. It is beautiful, and it is a great day to be a geek.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Rob.
Well, it all started back in January 29th, 1985. I was a young little zygote. Oh, no, not that far. Oh, sorry about that. Well, about myself, I'm a born and raised New Yorker. I've been a professional wrestler since 2009. I've been injured, and I'm going back into the ring hopefully sometime this year. I am literally an all-around geek. I love everything that involves the geek hood or geekdom, as you call it. So it can go anywhere between, it started off with comic books, and then it went off into video games and then movies and everything like that. I love doing stuff like that. I love cosplaying. I love making my own costumes out of literally nothing, or going to Goodwill and piecing things together. I love cars. Like, who doesn't love cars? It brings you from A to B and back.
Yeah, and it can do so in like just the best way possible.
Yeah, and it's just, you know what? And I just love just people that just love being a geek, just being passionate about things. And, it's just like, I love trading stories about, like, what cool things I did this week, or what successful things I did this week, so others could share in their own expert, experiences as well, because I want to hear people's accomplishments, because it just fuels me to that, hey, you know what? We are doing something in this world, and we're actually trying to make it a little bit better instead of just sitting there going, straight up idiocracy, lead, follow, get out the way. I'd rather just get out the way and just watch everything burn type of thing. Progressing.
Dude, that was way more inspirational than I was expecting to hear. Thank you for that.
I'm crying.
Yeah, wow. All right, well, I want to go in a completely different direction, because you listed a ton of interests and things that you're into there in the kind of greater geek community. I want to know, where did the professional wrestling get started?
Yeah.
Well, it all started when I was like 4 years old, and I'm sorry, not 4 years.
4?
Yeah, I would say 3.5. I was just literally watching. Yeah, I know. I'm weird like that, right? Like literally watching TV, Saturday Night Main Event, Channel 4, NBC, and I was watching The Ultimate Warrior against Macho King Randy Savage, and Saturday Night Main Event, and I was just like, "Mommy, that's me." And I told her that at like 3.5 years old. And like my mom's like, "Yeah, you didn't say that shit. You are." But I'm like, yeah, I told you, and I told her exactly the room that I said in it. She's like, "How did you know?" I'm like, "'Cause I'm Rob Fury, Mom." No, it's always been one of those things that I don't know if you know about Chris Benoit, but he always had this his catchphrase, "Prove me wrong," and I always used to prove people wrong when I was younger, and it was a cool thing to say, "Hey, you know what?" I was like 3, 4, and said, "I'm going to be a pro wrestler when I grow up," and I did it, and I went to wrestling school. Yes, that's a thing.
Yeah, almost no one gets to say.
Oh my God, we need to make sure we hit the geek out section before we continue to geek out like this, because otherwise, we haven't done it yet. We're gonna keep going on this tangent, but it really is just about time to geek out. All right, so we're already geeking out about pro wrestling, and we're gonna keep going. But tell us about pro wrestling school.
What?
Yeah,
school?
yeah. Yeah, there's an actual pro wrestling school. You actually pay for tuition. Depending on how talented you are, there's a good chance that you're not even going to see the inside of a ring within the first 6 months of your training. So it literally depends on which school you go to, who's training you. I was very lucky that I actually trained at the Doghouse in Brooklyn, New York, the very world famous Doghouse wrestling school where Low Key came out from. Homicide was like the head trainer there. He's the one. You know, if you guys watch Impact Wrestling, he does LAX. He's the leader of LAX, Homicide. Big ups, big props, you know, shout out, doing his thing. And, you know, I started there. And, yeah, you know what? An 18-year-old kid spending, like, basically all the money that he saved up to be a pro wrestler. And within the first 3 months of training, bruising his lungs. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
So I guess I just want to make sure. So we're talking pro wrestling, like you said, Randy Savage and that kind of stuff. It's a lot of, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not actually like throwing punches and trying to submit each other. It's a lot more like acrobatics and stage combat-y kind of things, correct?
You are wrong.
I'm wrong. Okay.
Pro wrestling is 1,000% real. The thing is that everybody knows it's 2018. Everybody's not stupid. It's predetermined, but it is absolutely real. I have had multiple injuries in the ring since I came into the ring in 2009. I personally have been out of the ring right now for the last 2 years because I actually ripped all the ligaments in my right shoulder. So I haven't been able to actually fully been able to compete in the last 2 years because of it.
Well,
we beat the holy snot out of each other because it's like, just think about this. Like, let's say that you're doing a performance on stage, right?
Yeah.
You're basically you're taking your voice and you're accentuating your voice for the whole crowd to see and hear what you're doing. So as a pro wrestler, if I'm giving someone a Ric Flair chop and it's weak and it's feeble, if I'm in a crowd of, like, let's say 50 people to a crowd of 500 people, that little feeble chop is going to be feeble. But if I lay it into my opponent, which might be end up being my best friend that I'm actually wrestling against that night, I'm going to lay it in. I'm going to beat the snot out of my best friend in the ring. After, we're going to be like, dude, that shit hurt. But thank you, though. The crowd loves it. But no, pro wrestlers, man, we are sadists. We are sadomasochists. We love beating the snot out of each other. We love getting the snot beat out of us. And we'll walk around like the street like 2-3 weeks later, like holding our backs. We're like, oh, I should have done that 450. But yet again, right after I say that, I'm like, oh, I remember that holy shit chat. Never mind.
Wow.
Never mind.
Wow, I'm flat. I legitimately thought that was all pre-choreographed fighting. I mean,
I did too.
I'm actually stunned. Wow.
Predetermined, like I said, it's predetermined. Like, you can go and have a match. You could come, depending on the talent that you have with you. I could just meet someone like in the locker room and the booker's like, hey, you know what, Rob and this person, you guys are going 20 minutes, and this person is gonna win. Figure it out. And the beauty about professional wrestling is that, yeah, you know what, it is 2018. Kayfabe is dead, and whoever says kayfabe is not dead is absolute moron. I'm sorry, but like let's be real. Everybody knows the inner workings of professional wrestling by now. The internet blew that wide open. So it's the abilities of the professional wrestlers, the artists, that everybody knows that I'm gonna win. You guys know I'm gonna win. But yet again, it's that journey, that beautiful art piece of making it from the beginning of the belt to the end of the belt to that, overall, hey, I'm the one that won.
Yeah.
It's that journey of how you win. Sometimes it doesn't matter who wins. It's the journey. It's the match. Like, that's why you hear these 5-star matches, because they're literally 5-star, like, amazing performances. Like, the athleticism's like superb. The drama. It's basically acrobatic male soap opera. That's really what it is. Vince McMahon coined it himself. It's basically a male soap opera.
I mean,
it's not like I said it. He said it. The guy literally revolutionized professional wrestling.
Right.
So
it's interesting. Sorry, it is interesting you say that because that actually makes me think of the South Park episode that kind of teases at WWE and all the pro wrestling because it ends up being like they're performing Shakespeare and stuff like that. So I mean, yeah, it's intentionally teasing and like goading at the pro wrestling pro wrestlers, but like. I mean, what you just said. I mean, it's still like a soap opera kind of thing, but you guys are actually laying into each other.
It's like if you go to the opera and you watch the ballet, it's the same thing. You just the power struggle between the ballerina, the male dancer and the female dancer. And you see the struggle, you see the passion, you see the trials and tribulations within that whole choreographed dance. Same thing in professional wrestling. So much emotion and just passion that goes into just two people that they've never probably met in the ring ever in their lives, or they could be best friends in real life, and they're literally going to put their livelihood. Like every time you fall on the ring, it's called a bump. We have a certain bump card. There's a certain amount of bumps in a professional wrestler's life. Some wrestlers, such as cough, Terry Funk and Ric Flair, need to retire already. But they need to go. They need to say, "Oh, it's gone. We good." But you know what? Those guys, they don't want to fill up their bump card, and they keep doing it because they love it.
Yeah.
Same thing with NFL players. They don't stop until their bodies are banged up. They're like, "I'm done."
Yeah.
Just like baseball players, excuse the New York Yankees because they're all, steroid users. But besides, I digress.
No, I mean it's just a community I've never really thought of before, and not one I was expecting to really go into that depth about today. It's really fascinating. So I mean it's. I do want to try to transition over to the cosplaying, and it's the reason my brain is thinking about that right now is because with pro wrestling, everybody has like a distinct like
a look,
a persona, and like something that goes alongside it. So while we're making this transition, I know you're Rob Fury. So like, what is like the outfit you go with when you're doing your pro wrestling?
Repeat that one last time.
So when you're in the wrestling ring, I know that everybody has such a distinct look when they hit the ring. What is your look when you're hitting the pro wrestling ring?
Oh snap! A look. I don't have a look.
Oh,
it's just me, man. It literally is me because everybody says, "Oh yeah, you're pro." How did you come up with your pro wrestling gimmick or whatnot? I don't have a gimmick. I literally am Rob Fury. This is who I am. This is what I'm about. I say my name's Rob Fury and I get shit done. It's because I do. If I tell you I'm going to do it, I do it. Okay. The moniker that I go out with is the ASS, the arrogant superstar, because in real life, I am not arrogant whatsoever. I like talking about my accomplishments because I want other people to talk about accomplishments. But in real life, like I'm nowhere near as arrogant or cocky than I portray myself in the ring. And every time I go into the wrestling ring, I'm like, oh, I got to be that jerk again. Because in real life, I can't do that. Because I'm not like that. Like I actually feel bad. Seriously, I will scream at a kid in the ring. And during intermission, I'll come to that kid and be like, dude, you're right, man. I'm not that dude.
All right.
I'm not that guy. But I love being a villain. If it's not for villains, superheroes would not exist.
Oh,
or if
so
they did exist, it would be lame. This is why I love, segueing into cosplay. I love cosplaying villains. Because you know what? If it wasn't for the Joker, Batman wouldn't be as interesting as he is. If it wasn't for Lex Luthor, Superman would not be as interesting. Or if it wasn't for Brainiac, if it wasn't for low key, the Avengers wouldn't have anybody to focus on, and everybody wouldn't be fanboying over Tom Hiddleston and whatnot. Be like, hey, he's not bad, type of thing.
Yeah.
So I love being the bad guy. Being the bad guy's awesome. My favorite cosplay is Red Hood. Because
the Red Hood?
Jason Todd Red Hood. He's the ultimate anti-hero.
Oh, that's awesome.
Literally, the guy was so hated. The guy was so hated as Robin that
they voted to kill him.
Yeah.
The guy was so hated that people were like, yo, I got to call because this dude sucks. And he's so badass. The guy The guy has two origin stories. He was literally a carbon copy of Dick Grayson. Then they retconned it like, nah, chill. You can't do the same guy. And then the guy was so gangster at the age of like 10. He was robbing Batman's hubcap. Like, how gangster do you have to be to rob Batman's hubcap, dude? That is straight up gangster, dude. Straight up gangster. And then the comic book community killed him. They're like, yeah, okay, we're done with you. And not only does he get brought back, but the guy gets brought back two different ways. One, Superboy Prime, the most gangster dude in all of comics, literally punches a hole through reality. It's like literally he was having an emo day and said, you know what? I'm not feeling the snowflake way that I'm feeling right now. And just punched air, and reality just splintered.
Fuck this wall of reality. Fuck reality, man.
Seriously. It's like literally, it's like if Superboy Prime was vaping one day, and he's like, dude, I'm not liking this vape. And he punches the vape wall, and it just shattered, and then every reality came back. That was that moment. Vape life. You know, and the second part, they're like, nah, we don't like that retcon, so let's bring back Red Hood again and have Talia go put him in the Lazarus pit and get him all crazy and whatnot. Like, such a beautiful, beautiful character. Started off being a carbon copy, being hated by the community, the comic book community, to be killed, then being brought back with, people say, you don't bring back Bucky, you don't bring back Uncle Ben, and you don't bring back Jason Todd. Well, apparently 2 out of 3 ain't bad, is it?
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say, well, Bucky came back, and clearly Red Hood came back. Mm-hmm. Uncle Ben, however, is the rock solid example of someone that will never come back.
Yeah, same thing. Batman's parents are never going to come back either. Like
Stop.
That would.
I mean,
it's too soon.
It's probably
that's too soon.
So, really quickly, for those of you who have never seen me that might be listening to the podcast, I look like Lex Luthor, like straight up. I'm Lex Luthor
with a goatee.
With a goatee.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, with a goatee.
Yes.
So, like, you're Lex Luthor's evil twin.
I don't know if that makes me good or bad or not, but
technically, I would say that he was Lex Luthor from Earth, like 3, but let's not go into that conversation.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that. But it's because of my look. I'm commonly, cast and used as a bad guy as well, and I'm right there with you, Rob. I love being the bad guy, and I love being the anti-hero. Just like you were saying, Red Hood. I love being the not good guy.
And Red Hood's gotten a couple of costume redesigns over the years because he first came back in the late 90s when Red Hood first showed up, and it was kind of the big mystery of who he was. But which version of the costume do you have that you use for cosplaying?
I personally like the I even though it's not my favorite movie, it's not my favorite DC animated movie, but my best friend Julian literally loves this, but Batman Under the Red Hood. It's that more just like the Joker said, he's more motorcycle chic than, Maitre D. But that's the version of Red Hood that I like, with the more stylized helmet. Because if you look at a lot of Red Hood cosplayers, they usually have the one that was in the comics with more of the sleek type of helmet and stuff like that. And you can see a lot of people have that same look, or they're the ones that do the Arkham, the Arkham Knight, the Arkham Knight version, or just that Red Hood version from that game, or the one from Arkham City, which is the DLC version that you see a lot of people do with just the T-shirt and the jacket and stuff like that. Which is, hey, everybody loves that. That's perfectly fine. I like my version because it's more a little bit more militaristic, more motorcycle chic and badass. And I do love the helmet. That my helmet's definitely a different take on the Red Hood helmet. It's more so very militaristic instead of just the comic book version. But I actually retired my Red Hood. I'm bringing it back for C2E2 this year because it's oh snap, I haven't worn it in over a year and a half, so let me do this anyway.
Yeah.
And I have one of my AOG members from Orlando. They're coming to C2E2. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm bringing back an old classic. That's pretty fun, And it's always good, cosplaying people that that you always grew up loving, but you were just I don't know about this guy. He's kind of weird. He's kind of different. He's kind of interesting. And then when you finally put him on, and people are like, dude, that looks so great. It feels so damn good. And, that's another thing why people need to just start cosplaying. A lot of people just like, oh, I don't know how to cosplay. Do it. Just do it.
You just start. Yeah.
So, like, Lacey, Amazing Legs, you do cosplaying as well, right?
I do cosplay. I've been cosplaying since before I even knew what the term cosplay meant. I think the first time I ever cosplayed was probably like a Harry Potter thing, because we used to go to all the midnight like book releases and the movie releases, and I remember going to Goodwill with my friends when I was like probably 15 and just like finding a red and gold tie and finding a gray pleated skirt and being like, this works, and I threw it together, and we were like the only 3 people dressed up at the book like release. So they put us in like the local paper and stuff. And I was like, I love this. I want to keep doing this. So it went on to, like whenever like a geeky movie was released, I remember I dressed up as like Jean Grey from X-Men. I dressed up for the Pirates of the Caribbean movie premiere, like all that kind of stuff. And then when I started learning about conventions and like New York Comic Con, and this year I'm finally making the pilgrimage to Dragon Con. I am so excited. I've never been, but are you going, Rob? Are you going to Dragon Con?
No, there's this thing called lack of funds.
Oh, wow.
I kind of had to
like having a mortgage.
I did sell my soul to the devil to get enough money to go, but yes, I am going, and so that's going to be really exciting. But yeah, I cosplay as well.
I mean, devil contract aside, it is very exciting.
Yeah. I'll deal with it later.
So I do have to admit, I am Peter the Geek. I have never been to a con yet, and it's mostly because I am kind of scared. I'm nervous to go.
Why?
I mean, partly I do, like, I've never cosplayed before, and I've always wanted to, but I'm also not that good with the sewing. I know how to use a sewing machine, and I know how to put an outfit together. I'm not like that bad at it. However, I'm also a perfectionist, and so I don't want to wear something that's subpar. The best. Right. I mean, a Halloween costume is about the best parallel I can wear. The best cosplay / Halloween costume I ever did was Blaine from the Pokemon video games. Because I'm bald, I was able to go down to a mustache and dye it white, and I looked perfect. It was awesome because I had the little glasses. Like, it was wonderful. It's the original red-blue version of Blaine from the
Jim 7. Is he the fire guy?
Yeah, he's the fire guy.
Yeah. On a Cinnabar Island.
Yes, because the TV show does a different one. Anyway, regardless, that's all the cosplaying I've ever done.
Right, but you don't have to have like a ton of sewing experience, or I know you want it to be perfect, and I'm a perfectionist as well, but I don't sew a lot, and I think some of the things I come up with are pretty damn good. That's your hot glue gun is your best friend.
So here's something I'm wondering about, because I always thought like the finished product was going to be the goal. Like you were talking about like showing up at the book openings or showing up at cons and things like that. But Rob, you mentioned earlier just how much you enjoy the actual process of putting together an outfit. Is that like a big part of the cosplaying? Is like because of the journey, it's a bigger accomplishment at the end?
At times, question mark. Well, it honestly depends on what you want that costume to represent. Because there, like she was saying, that there are times that you could just really slap on something together for like, oh snap, it's opening movie day. Let me just put something real quick together.
Right.
Or there are people that in like my cosplay group, the Age of Geeks, I've had multiple people in AOG, like they compete in the Crown Championships for C2E2, which is like one of the most prestigious cosplay contests that you could actually be in. And it's a matter of putting things together for months on end. I'm talking about people spend over a year, sometimes over 2 years building their costumes. Yeah. There are professionals like that. Me personally, I like to be a perfectionist about certain costumes. There are certain costumes that I put a lot of time and energy into it, and I'm like, you know what? No, it's not ready. And there are certain costumes I'm like, you know what? This is going to be a fun time. I'm just going to wear it just for fun. And there are other times that you could start off like there are people that they do things by steps, and there are people that are like, okay, I'm going to just do one costume and that's it. So you could just do one costume and that's it. Like for let's say, perfect example, my Red Hood. My Red Hood, it started off in just one simple underlaying body type thing, putting craft foam on compression shirt, and then getting a jacket. That was the first step. That with a mask. And then the second step is, okay, now I'm going to start putting armor onto it. And then that's going to be the second version build. And then you keep building until you get it to the point that, you know what, by my fifth build, all right, that's what I want in my costume. So you could do it in steps. You could just go to stores and buy bodysuits called Zentais or onesies. Like, my personal website is itsheroestime.com. I get some of the most durable, I'm talking about breathable bodysuit / Zentais you could get in the cosplay community through itsheroestime.com, and I love those guys. Like, I have over 10.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you said it's Furious Time?
No, it's Heroes Time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Hero Time.
Oh, it's Hero. Yeah. It's heroestime.com, and it's like, this stuff, it's not only is it very affordable, but the shipping is like 3 days, and it's so good. And if you do a review, you get like $5 off your next purchase. And it's like it's like they feed your stuff. Like, when we go to like children's hospitals, or we're going to the library to read books, to read to the kids, having like a simple one piece like Frozone or like a Spider-Man or like
Frozone,
you know, which I am going to be doing that too.
I mean,
like,
the second.
have like a one. Yes, I am.
The second one's coming out.
Yes.
Incredibles 2 is coming out. By the way, Incredibles 2.
Yes.
It is the best Fantastic Four movie ever.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yeah. It's when you like, at first I had no idea, but when you break it down, at least 3 of the 4 are legitimately just the Fantastic Four. You have the Invisible Girl. Yeah. You have, I mean, Mr. Incredible is still the thing, and then Mrs. Incredible is Mr. Fantastic. Like, it's apart from Dash, like I can see why they didn't want to make him the Human Torch.
And they kind of made the baby the Human Torch.
And they did.
When did that first one come out? How long ago was that?
I'm going to Google that right now.
I want to say 2009 or something.
2000,
oh my God.
And I say 2004.
Yes,
Yeah.
2004.
No way.
Holy crap! We're way overdue for a sequel.
Way overdue. So,
but things like that, that's what people do. Like, people like will go out and like put together an Incredibles cosplay, or just sew little like Incredibles logo onto a red T-shirt, and just make it and just go out to the movie and enjoy it. It doesn't have to be spectacular movie quality like the 501st, which George Lucas is like the #1 Star Wars group. They have a very stringent policy, because they are the best of the best, you have to follow the rules. Now, if you want to just go out and hang out with your friends and, you know, do some Harry Potter, you know, and just get a scarf and you know, break a twig off a branch and say that's your wand, then you could do that, and you could have a fracking blast with it, and no one has any right to tell you that you're doing it wrong or that's not good enough, because it's your interpretation. Cosplay is your individual interpretation.
There's definitely sorry, I don't want to there's definitely like, I'll agree with you. There's different levels to it. There's so much you can do with cosplay. If you want to be one of those people that's entering the contest and competing and like spending so much time, like, do it. Go ahead and do it. But if you just I mean, I know when I personally got into it, my cosplays were crap. They looked horrible. Like, you know, everything looked bad. I look at pictures from back then, I'm like, how did I ever walk out of the house? Because I'm such a perfectionist now. Like, if it doesn't look perfect, I don't want to wear it.
Right.
But, you know, when you start, it's not going to be perfect. But it's so much fun, and the people you meet are what makes it so great, because everyone is into what you're into. You find people wearing cosplays from your favorite animes or your favorite comic books or movies or whatever. You automatically become like their best friend. It's just like a really insane experience to describe, but it's something that I would never give up, and I love it so much. So yeah.
I mean, I'm determined to buy Comic-Con tickets this year.
You must.
I need to. Like, I've been putting it off because there's always been like an excuse I've been able to provide for myself. Like, I don't have the money this year. Like, even though
Here's the thing, you don't need to go just to New York Comic-Con. There are
there's so many
of Comic-Cons out there, and a lot of the time, like, New York Comic-Con, like 2013 was the first Comic-Con I ever went to. But if I knew the information that I knew now, I would completely be supporting these smaller cons.
Yeah.
And you know, as someone that it's a weird thing to say, but as a leader in the cosplay community in the Chicago area, like, I do my due diligence to go to the smaller cons, because they're the ones that are like building up, and they're the ones that really, really need the support of the hardcore geeks, because bigger cons, some of them are too big to fail, so they don't care how they treat you.
Right.
it's these small cons that are just trying to come out and like experience, the fan building and just the nostalgia of being like a geek and wearing costume. It's a great thing. Like for me, like being a cosplayer and being part of Boxer Chicago, which is like literally one of the most innovative and like just awesome experiences in improv Japanese game shows in the Chicago and New York area. Like when I have the opportunity to get on a stage and do like the beer tower, I wear my cosplay. I love coming out in a different costume every single show and having like the host Jin or just the fans just be like, hold on, is that Bishop from the X-Men? What the hell? Is that Jafar? Did he just come out as Jafar?
That's
What?
Oh my gosh.
And I love it. And it's so awesome. It's like I make those, like every Boxer Chicago show, I make it into a little mini con for me. Because it's like, okay, how fast can I finish doing this? And how fast can I get into this costume? And how am I going to strut my stuff and just perform and show off this character? And I'm in character the whole time. So if I'm going to be Jafar, I'm going to have that shit-eating grin. Like, I just, like, where is Prince Ali? Where is he? And it's like, I love being in character. And it's like, that's the beautiful thing about going to, like, the little cons and, like, being in character as a certain character, costume villain or something like that. Like, you interact with the kids. You interact with these things. Like, you go to libraries. Like, dude, you know how many times I've gone just to a comic book shop in Gotham or gone to, like, the Disney store in downtown Chicago just for shits and giggles? It is great.
Yeah, I bet you draw a crowd.
I imagine.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, Disney store technically does not like you wearing Disney stuff in their store.
Well, that's Disney in a nutshell. Oh, I shouldn't trash talk Disney too much, should I? But
you
I mean,
can do whatever you want. It's your show.
And
No.
if they feel like sponsoring the podcast, let them.
Yeah.
hey, if they want to prove me wrong,
the Disney overlords. They own Disney. They own Marvel. So everything from our childhood, before we were alive, and far afterward, fucking, pardon my language, but Stardust. Disney is going to control stuff. I'm surprised that Disney is not going to have their own state in the United States. Disney's first state, Disney state.
Oh no,
that's basically what Disney World is.
I don't think that's. I mean, yeah, they're basically their own capital in the center of.
They have their own police force.
I think
they have their own town.
I think they're going to end up becoming. It's going to turn from the United States of America to the Disney States of America.
Oh yeah, you know what? Just turn Greenland. Just take that whole island and just make it into like a whole Disney Marvel like island.
Yeah, no one's really doing much with it.
I wouldn't be against
I feel
it.
like Disney does not have the money. They're like, hey, Greenland. Hey, guess what? We're gonna buy you out. Really? Oh,
we're gonna buy Greenland.
Mostly ice anyway,
They could.
So.
I bet they could.
And I'm sure they could, and I'm sure
there are people in Greenland willing to sell.
And I'm sure that they could make a ton of money with the international tourism coming to, like, literally flying to Star Wars Land or the Magic Kingdom or whatever they decide to put there.
That's real.
Oh, absolutely. And then the president of Greenland said, the Greenland is mostly ice. Now we go to Iceland. Where it's mostly
I had no idea what a Greenland accent sounded like until now.
That's it. That's what it is.
For those of you that couldn't see, I was kind of when he was doing the president, I was making it rain with my hands because I imagine that's what he was doing. We go to Iceland now.
Right. That's brilliant radio.
Brilliant,
so good.
brilliant.
Best radio when I'm doing stuff with my hands that nobody can see,
We saw it. That's what matters.
Well,
with you.
We're at the 32-minute mark.
Are you
So
serious?
yeah, we've been talking for over half an hour at this point. Yeah, we've said it every single episode, so I'm just gonna make it a tradition now. It always goes this fast. Like I'm always amazed. But we're not done yet because we still have plus 10 XP, 10 minutes where we get to talk about other kind of stuff. Basically, this is where I say, Rob, you've had your time. It's our time now. But we have questions that we want to ask you, and I actually I want to kick it off because you see pictures from the 501st that you mentioned, and they're movie quality. Like, it is some of the best cosplaying you are ever gonna see. How do you make armor? Because I mean, like with Red Hood, like you said, it was a helmet. You see people with unique armor patches all the time in these comics. How do you make customized armor like that for cosplaying?
Well, for armor, I would definitely say that the Viper's First has a very good structure in there. Like they have these boards, these forum boards, and depending on where you are located, these forum boards are dictated by certain people. So it's like you could always, the Bible First is such an inclusive type of community. So you go onto these boards on Facebook or the regular forums, like on Reddit and stuff like that, and you ask, hey, where can I get, I'm looking for Mandalorian armor to become Boba Fett. I want Bible First certification worthy armor. Where can I go do this? You know, there are places that offer kits that they're completely bare. You do all the work. It's just the actual mold of the armor, and then you do everything else. There are people that are more financially inclined, that they have more money, so they can actually buy fully prepared kits that are 501st certified, that are registered by the people that do 501st certified armor, so you could do that. Like for my Darth Maul is extremely expensive. I kind of walked into one to be 501st Darth Maul, and I was like, Hachi Machi, that's expensive. You know, my robe, just the base robe alone is €650.
Whoa.
You know, and that's not dollars, that's just euro.
Yeah.
And I did it, and I got cast in a fan film, Star Wars Battlefield Holocron, and I got cast as Darth Maul. So this is something that is an investment for me, because I'm going to be wearing the robe for other things. But for my full Darth Maul, I have to spend another €850 on just the boots. Then I have to spend like €190 on like the contacts, prescription contacts.
Yeah.
Mind you, I'm saying euro, not American dollars.
Yeah, Jesus.
So hold on, you said these boots are €850?
Yep, because a lot of the prop stuff it's in the UK. A lot of Star Wars official prop stuff is in the UK. Me, I was able to actually spend only $150 for my robe, because I have a personal seamstress that actually hunted down for about a couple of months to find out, okay, this person's 501st certified. I know a person, Tedderula, he is 501st. He's like the official Darth Maul in like the Midwest area. And I talked to him, and, you know, I picked his brain for months on it to make sure that the person that I speak to, the seamstress, is 501st certified. The boots where I'm going to get it. It's from a 501st certified retailer. Contacts, same thing. Like the horns, even the makeup, like depending on what kind of makeup you wear. I wear alcohol based now, but before it used to be water based. But you could see the difference between wearing alcohol, between wearing alcohol and water based. So it's like there's so much research. You have to do your research.
Yeah.
If you want to do 501st, do your research. Talk to people. That's the type of community that you need to talk. You can't just say, hey, I'm just going to do this by myself and just do it. Because you know what? You submit, you're going to get shut down.
Yeah.
And you can't get upset if you get shut down. If you don't follow the rules to the T, you don't get upset or butthurt or no, but that's what it is. It's like, I could get butthurt if I put all that time and effort into something, put all that money, and I'm still not approved. Hell yeah, you're going to get butthurt. You're going to be upset. But the thing is that you have to understand, you go into what you go into. You know you want to be 501st certified, expect it to be one arduous, grueling process. But once you get into it, that's what you got into. That's what you busted your ass for. You know? So if you want to do that, you do that. But there are forums and there are different groups that on Facebook, or you can just Google it, and they will help you find that out.
Okay.
It's all about talking and networking and literally befriending the people within the community, because they're the ones that are going to help you the most and the best, because they're already inside the community.
Right. Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And there are times, there are little things, you know, I'm not going to say it out loud, but, you know, there are a little few, you know, like, you know, sneaks and hacks to get over something, you know, certain items that are supposed to be officially certified, but technically you could get the cheaper version and get that to slide through You know, I'm not saying what specific things they are.
Well, right.
But there are certain things that you could get. You know, you could slide a little, with a little not camera work, but just a little, lighting.
Yeah.
A little. So it's like for the 501st, you got to know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
If you just a cosplayer, man, you can go to anywhere. You can go to like cosplaysky.com, itsheroestime.com. You could go to anime. Oh, what's the anime website? I don't remember. But there's so many different websites that they're fully ready costumes. Right there, ready and done. Like if you want to be Captain America, there's full costumes for like $300-400 that you could wear. But you know what? That costume it's such a great quality. You can wear it for years. Mm-hmm. Years. Mm-hmm. You got your next Halloween costumes for the next 3 years. You got your next Comic-Con costume for the next God knows how long. Why? Because hey, the Supreme Overlords, Marvel, they're not going anywhere anytime soon.
That's true.
So you can wear that. I got fooled. I thought there was a Voldemort movie coming out, man.
Wait, what?
Film movie. I thought it was a fan film. But I got fooled, and I was going crazy. I'm like,
I saw this trailer. Yeah.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
I messaged my makeup artist. I was like, yo, Maria, that's it. We're doing Voldemort. I'm gonna go around people. All day long. When that movie comes up, I'm gonna be like, Harry Potter, Harry for you. And then I found out it was a fan film. My heart broke. It broke into like millions of Horcruxes. By the way, shout out to my girlfriend because she's a big Harry Potter fan. Not me, but But it's like. But that's what I love being about a geek, and I love these cosplayers because they're making these fan films, and they're making look at the Star Wars fan. I mean, not the Star Wars fan film, the Power Rangers fan film. Addict Ansari, because of that fan film with Dawson's Creek, dude from Dawson's Creek,
James Vanderbeek.
James Vanderbeek.
Yeah.
There you go. Because of him, look at the new Power Rangers movie that came out, which was it was hot garbage. It's still hot though.
It's still hot.
That's a good
it's
point.
Still hot though. It was a garbage movie. It's absolutely garbage. But you know what? It introduced a brand new generation to the Power Rangers that would never have known the Power Rangers besides Zero,
and Ninja Storm, and
they also would have. They also would have looked at it as that's what my mom that's what they used to watch, and it's from the 90s and 2000s, and it's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm. You know what? And you need to tell those millennials, shut the hell up, because the 90s, if it wasn't for the 90s, they wouldn't have been born.
Oh, right. I know.
All right, too. Because if mom and dad weren't scared after watching Goosebumps from R.L. Stein and shit, then, they wouldn't have got, all freaky deaky. There was no Netflix and chill. No. It was watching Nickelodeon, watching Are You Afraid in the Dark, getting fucking scared as shit, going into the seat, and all of a sudden looking at your best friend and be like, I have these feelings now. And then 9 months later, guess what? You were born. So thank Nickelodeon and thank all of these 90s shows, because you know what? TV has not been as good.
Oh, no.
Not.
Don't get me wrong. I was not saying I disliked the 90s and 2000s. No. My point was kids today wouldn't get it. That's my point.
True.
So I'm wondering, here's my question for you. How long does it usually take for you to put a full outfit together, a full cosplaying costume, once you decide to actually commit to it and put one together?
You mean from me saying, hey, I'm going to do this cosplay from the inception to the actual finish?
So if tomorrow you decided that you were going to do a cosplay of
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze, yeah, we'll just say that. How long from that point would it take you to get a costume you'd be comfortable wearing?
Oh shit. Well, it literally depends on my resources. First, one thing which is actually a very good tool that I use is Cost Planner. It's COS Planner, and it's an app. It's basically a cosplay planner, and it lets you list what the costumes you want to wear, the budget, the genre of exactly what. Let's say Mr. Freeze. Let's say we want to go Batman the Animated Series version of Mr. Freeze. So I would put Batman the Animated Series. Then I would put reference pictures of that costume, and then it would literally let you run down. Okay, how much the material is going to cost? All right, that helmet. Okay, I want to try to work off that helmet with some plexi, like small plexi type of material that's like see-through plastic. When I work with see-through plastic, how much is that going to cost? It's going to cost $3 for a packet. Bam. Put that down. Then I'm going to use EVA foam and war gloves for the armor. Then bam, I put down how much war gloves going to cost. 3 sheets for $25. Thank you for stealing shit out of my wallet now. EVA foam. It's like a pack of 20 for $10. Thank you, EVA foam. That's why we like you more than a war glove sometimes. And, you know, and like you list the stuff, and then you make a deadline. You say, you know what, I need this by it. Today is the February 25th. I have a deadline.
Day of recording.
For your comic by October 8th. So you did the deadline, and then you literally crossed it out piece by piece. So you make deadlines. It really depends on what you want to do. It's like it could be a simple cosplay that it could take you only a month. If you go straight that Mr. Freeze, you could put a 6-month deadline. If you go straight into it hardcore, you could get it banged out within like 2-3 months. If you want to take your time with it and slowly piece it together, it could be like 6-7 months. It could be 8 months. You could take a year if you want to. You know, it depends on how you want to build. It's your pace. Nobody's pushing you to do a single damn thing. You know, it's like you said that you want to do it, and in 8 months, the con is like next month, and you haven't done a damn thing. Guess what? I guess you didn't want to do that cosplay.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I really hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we're now at the 45-minute mark, which means we have to call our time done. I know. This was so fun, and like I had so many more questions to ask too, but like we do have to end it. So thank you so much for spending time with us today, Rob. This was really, really fun and really educational.
Yeah, and we didn't even get into the TV shows or the cars or all the other things that you're interested in.
Yeah, we barely scratched the surface on this. So like, thank you again so much, Rob.
Oh, wait, hey, there's always return visits, baby.
Hell yeah.
They came back for a sequel and a third movie we don't talk about.
Hell yeah, we can do that.
Look how he assumes the third movie is going to be disappointing.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a trend, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I do need to make sure we wrap up. So I feel like I leveled up today. So it's time to sign off. Again, I'm Peter the Geek.
I am #KillJosh.
And I am the Amazing Lace.
All right, so we'll see you at the next level, ladies and gentlemen. And we're off.
Podcast accomplished. Right? That was awesome.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to our show. If you liked Geek XP, help us out by becoming a contributor on our Patreon. We have bonus content, raffles, and more at patreon.com/yourgeekxp. Geek XP is recorded live at Face Off Unlimited headquarters in Astoria, Queens, and was edited by Peter Hargarden. Executive producers are Joe Tex, Jay Painter, and Eric Robinson. FOU Studios is a property of Face Off Unlimited, LLC. I'm Peter Hargarden, the senior producer of podcasts here, and on behalf of everyone who worked on the show, we'd like to thank you, the listener, for tuning in. Subscribe to catch all of our other podcasts here on the FOU Studios Podcast Network. To connect with the geeks, follow us at YourGeekXP on Facebook and Twitter. To learn more about FOU, connect with us via social media at FOU Studios and visit us at FOUstudios.com.